A very good afternoon to you. This is TV Sapienza transmitting on Star Times Channel 260. Today is Thursday, the 20th of March 2025. My name is Joe Igbo. In our news headlines this afternoon, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria TUC have demanded the immediate reversal of the state of emergency in Rivers State. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Police Command has confirmed a fuel tanker explosion on Nyanya Bridge yesterday, killing several persons and causing widespread property damage. A federal government visitation panel on prisons has expressed deep concerns over the conditions of the correctional centers and their inmates across the country. And the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, has assured Nigerians, especially those living with the human immunodeficiency virus HIV, that the country has taken steps to maintain a steady supply of antiretroviral drugs. Now the details of the news. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria TUC have demanded the immediate reversal of the state of emergency in Rivers State in the interest of democracy, economic stability and welfare of Nigerian workers. This is contained in a statement jointly issued by the President of the NLC, Joe Ajero, and President of the TUC, Festus Osifo. The union leaders said no democratic society can thrive where elected leaders are removed at will. They called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to revoke the declaration in compliance with Section 305, subsection 6 of the Constitution, which clearly outlines the legal process for declaring and sustaining a state of emergency. The union said the state of emergency may lead to job losses, economic hardship for thousands of workers in both the formal and informal sectors, citing constitutional violations, the demolition of the State House of Assembly, and failure to restore democratic order despite Supreme Court rulings. President Tinubu had announced the suspension of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the state legislature for an initial 6-month period. Meanwhile, the Rivers State House of Assembly has backed President Bola Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in the state following the protracted political crisis that has gripped the state for over a year. The Assembly, in a statement by its Speaker Martin Amehule, also blamed the suspended governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, for his wrong actions, including serial disobedience of court judgments and orders, failure to govern in line with his oath of office, and unconstitutional obstruction of the legislative arm of government, which precipitated the crisis. Amehule described the president's decision as being in the best interest of the country and urged residents to remain calm as the sole administrator takes charge. The Delta State chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC has opposed a petition seeking the removal of the party's National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka. In a letter to the APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, the State Executive Council members distanced themselves from the petition, describing it as baseless and unauthorized by the committee. They accused the state chairman, Elder Omeni Sobotie, of acting alone in filing the petition without approval. Calling for disciplinary action, the State Executive Council urged the National Working Committee of the APC to suspend Sobotie, warning that his leadership threatens the party's unity in Delta State. They reaffirmed their support for Felix Morka, commending his professionalism and commitment to APC's ideals. 17 out of the 18 local government chairmen in Edo State have defected from the People's Democratic Party PDP to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. However, the acting chairman of Oredo local government area, Harrison Izeko, was notably absent from the defection ceremony, which took place at the new festival hall in Benin City, at the government house in Benin City yesterday. The local government chairman defection comes days after PDP lawmakers in the State House of Assembly defected to the APC, giving the ruling party majority status in the legislature. Governor Monday Okpebholo welcomed the new members to the APC, praising their courage and political foresight in making the decision to leave the PDP. Governor Okpebholo expressed hope that more opposition party leaders will join the APC due to his administration's infrastructural strides. Responding on behalf of the new chairman, the outgoing chairman and chairman of his son's central local government area, Kelvin Iyere, said they decided to become from the PDP because of the crisis rocking the party and their love for the developments that Governor Okpebholo has brought to Edo State. However, the publicity secretary of the PDP caretaker committee in Edo State, Chris Nehikera, accused Okpebholo of using state resources to bribe councillors into defecting to the APC. He said Governor Monday Okpebholo summoned all councillors from the 18 local government areas of Edo State in a desperate attempt to woo them with 2 million naira each to the camp to the All Progressives Congress, APC. He described the use of state funds to buy political loyalty as reckless and unacceptable. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Police Command has confirmed a devastating motor vehicle accident that occurred on Nyanya Bridge yesterday. A statement issued by the Police Public Relations Officer of the command, SP Josephine Ade, said 14 vehicles were burnt. Although eyewitnesses said more than 10 persons died, the police said 6 victims were pulled out of the wreckage of burnt vehicles and were confirmed dead in the hospital. According to Ade, a Dangote trailer heavily loaded with cement and approaching Nyanya Bridge lost control and crashed into stationary vehicles trapped in traffic. She said the impact engulfed 14 vehicles in a raging inferno as bystanders and motorists scrambled for safety in the chaos that followed. The police said 6 victims were pulled from the wreckage and rushed to the hospital where they were confirmed dead by medical personnel on duty. Their remains have been deposited at Karu General Hospital morgue. The statement said police operatives in collaboration with fire service personnel, other security agencies and courageous individuals at the scene contained the inferno and normal traffic flow has been restored. A federal government visitation panel on prisons has said the conditions of the correctional centers and their inmates are appalling and unbearable. The panel, headed by a former Ekiti State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Olawale Fapohunda San, found that most inmates are languishing in prisons due to lack of legal representation and the inability of the Legal Aid Council to cope with the huge number of cases it is handling. The findings are contained in the report the panel submitted yesterday in Abuja to the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi San. Fabuhunda said in the course of the panel's assignment of auditing prisons, members interfaced with various categories of inmates and found their conditions unpalatable. The panel chairman said besides the challenge of lacking legal representation, most inmates suffer ailments that the prison authorities could not fund the cost of medication. He urged the AGF and the federal government to help the nation's prisons and their inmates with a view to alleviating their poor conditions. The report noted that several inmates continue to be kept in detention for periods longer than the maximum period of imprisonment prescribed for their offenses because they do not have legal representation. The Abia State Police Command has declared and dismissed one of its mobile police officers over unethical conduct. A press statement issued yesterday and signed by the Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Maureen Chinaka, on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Danladi Issa. The command said that Inspector Kufere Moses, formerly serving at Mopol 55 PMF, Aba, and attached to UBA Bank in Aba, Abia State, has been dismissed from the Nigeria Police Force effective 21st February 2025. He has also been declared and all police property have been retrieved from him. The statement said the action follows administrative disciplinary measures taken against him by the command for discreditable conduct and offenses against indiscipline. ISA reaffirmed the command's zero tolerance for unprofessional conduct and assured the public that the command will not condone the activities of bad elements within the force. Our correspondent said all efforts to get relevant police authorities for further details on the offense proved abortive, as none could be reached. The Abia State government has demolished a building in Osisioma local government area used as a hideout by kidnappers, warning landlords against renting their properties to tenants without proper background checks. The State Commissioner for Information, Prince Okekanu, issued the warning while addressing journalists in Umuahia, lamenting that many landlords prioritize rent collection over verifying the identities and activities of their tenants. Reacting to the demolition of the building, Kanu emphasized the need for landlords to conduct thorough due diligence before leasing their properties. He urged property owners to maintain proper records of their tenants and ensure their houses are not being used for criminal activities. The commissioner warned that the Abia State government will not hesitate to demolish any house used for kidnapping, while urging residents to remain vigilant, monitor their surroundings, and report suspicious activities to security agencies. The National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, has assured Nigerians, especially those living with the human immunodeficiency virus or HIV, that the country has taken steps to maintain a steady supply of antiretroviral drugs. NACA's Director General Temitope Ilori said that despite recent concerns raised by the World Health Organization (WHO), the federal government had taken proactive steps to prevent any potential shortage of HIV medication. The agency boss said the Federal Executive Council (FEC) approved $1.07 billion to finance the healthcare sector reforms under the Human Capital Opportunities for Prosperity and Equity or HOPE program. She added that the government also approved 4.8 billion naira for HIV treatment, while the Senate allocated an additional 300 billion naira to the health sector in this year's budget. In a statement yesterday in Abuja, Ilori explained that these allocations are a part of the government's efforts to cushion the impact of the United States government's aid pause and close the immediate funding gap, acknowledging that the U.S. government's support and partnership in the past 2 years, or rather 2 decades. The NACA boss said the federal government of Nigeria perceived the funding pause as an opportunity to mobilize resources, take ownership, and ensure the sustainability of HIV response in the country. The statement said treatment centers and pharmacies will continue to have sufficient antiretroviral drugs, ensuring uninterrupted access to care. To end the Sapientia news at 1 p.m., a recap of the major headlines. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) have demanded the immediate reversal of the state of emergency in Rivers State. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Police Command has confirmed a fuel tanker explosion on Nyanya Bridge yesterday, killing several persons and causing widespread property damage. A federal government visitation panel on prisons has expressed deep concerns over the conditions of the correctional centers and their inmates across the country. And finally, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, has assured Nigerians, especially those living with the human immunodeficiency virus or HIV, that the country has taken steps to maintain a steady supply of antiretroviral drugs. That was the Sapientia news at 1 p.m. On behalf of the editorial and technical crew, I am Joe Igbo. Good afternoon and thanks for choosing TV Sapientia.